thank everybody for joining us today on this special edition of the Corner Bookstore, USA Global TV. And we're talking with the co-host of the Corner Bookstore, Diane Floyd Boehm today, who is herself an author of many books, not just children's books, but also books for adults. And we're going to take a tour of her story garden. So, Diane, welcome to the Corner Bookstore. I know you're comfortable here. You've been here before. Maybe you could start by telling us a little bit and giving us a little tour of the story garden.
Sure, I'll be happy to. I'm excited to be with you. So this is my story garden, and my story garden, welcome everybody. And you can see there's the garden. Why did I choose the garden? Because for me, everyone should have their own library. Even children should start developing their library and know that every new book, what happens in a garden, it grows. And I want their library to grow. And never ever get rid of a book, because what you might have enjoyed as a child reading and having lovely memories of your parents reading as you get older, you'll grow to cherish those books in another way and with delight. So what you're looking at is, let me show you a little bit, is you're seeing some of my books that I've written, but you're also seeing some of the artwork of my students. And then that's my mom right there. And you're also seeing my kids, like that's my son's handprint when he was little. And my daughter made me a little plate for Mother's Day. And my other daughter has something on another shelf. And then way up at the top, you'll see my daddy, again, my mom. And I have my great grandma in here as well, because I was blessed enough to be a little girl and know her for about 10 years. So how lucky is that? So my story garden is a collection of books. Let's see, which way should I go? We'll go this way. And inside I have what I call the magical books, because one day I hope to have a real show, kind of like Mr. Rogers, and you open this case up and a magical book will be there for me to read to the kiddos. And then over here we have even more books, and I have them in different genres. So I have like Christmas and holidays all together, and ghost stories, etc. And then by different ages.
And I've seen covers of your books as you were panning across your story garden. Harry the Camel, The Little Girl in the Moon, beautiful, beautiful stories about children. But I also know that there's a multi-generational aspect to the stories you tell, because you mentioned your mom and your dad, and you made a reference to your grandma, your grandparents, and your great grandmom. I want to talk about how this is your story. So what I'd like, maybe you can spend a couple of minutes telling us how your story is woven into all the stories you tell.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Well, my mama always says that she believed Great Grandma Terrell whispered in my ear, because Grandma Terrell was the historian of the family, and she wanted to make sure that they were not forgotten, those stories. And so I'm the historian now of our family, and I just love studying the people who came before us, because their stories help us become the people that we are. And so that's very, very important to me. And so when I write these stories, I'm looking at Charlie and the Tire Swing. Oh, here, I have a copy here. Charlie and the Tire Swing. That is an intergenerational story. And I wanted parents to think about, as they're speaking to their kids, I like to think that my books are books that maybe the kids will go, wait a minute, Mama, what about? And then it makes them so curious and want to ask questions themselves. So maybe they won't even get the story finished, because communication happened between the loved one reading the story and the child. And that's powerful to me, because they're developing this close relationship. And when you have stories that include your great grandpa, great grandma, etc., or your aunts and uncles, then you are showing them what a world that they came from. And so I just, it's really dear to my heart.
We're not the first people to tour the story garden with you. You've had others visit you in your story garden, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about how your visitors have reacted to the experience of being in the story garden with you.
Sure, I'll be happy to. So I invite different authors of children books. First of all, I'll back up a little bit. The Story Garden, it was designed so that parents know A, it's free, and B, it's designed that if they stepped out of the room and came back in, their child was in a safe place. That's extremely important to me.
Mm.
And that any story that's read is appropriate. So they are all children's books. They're children's books that the authors might have contacted me or I've contacted them and invited them. So I know the story. So there's no surprises. And then again, that provides a safe environment for the children. I really believe in protecting children and letting them. We grow up so fast, so I want children to love imagination, and just when they step away from the story garden, they just want to go out and look at the clouds and play and dive into their own imagination. So that's what the story garden is all about: imagination.
It's so much more than a library and a book for you anyway. And I know you really feel this deeply. A book is so much more than a book. And
Mhm.
that depth of experience, I think, is central to what you offer. And you finally made reference to people out there who might be having a difficulty, maybe struggling a little bit telling their story.
My specialty is to help people realize that we are all storytellers, and that if you have this yearning to get this story out, but you don't know how to get started, I want to be the person that you can come to, you can feel comfortable with, and we can just relax. I'll learn your personality, and then we'll just go and have itty bitty baby steps until before you know it, just like in my book, A Time to Fly, before you know it, the young new author is ready to fly too and go to super professional coaches. I feel that I feel like, there's everyone has chapters in their life of work and so forth. And when I decided to become an author, it just didn't happen overnight. So I feel very blessed that my books are out there now. And so if I've been blessed, aren't we always supposed to turn around and help bless someone else? And that's what I'm all about, is giving thanks.
That's beautiful. And we're all blessed that your stories are out there, Diane. And I know we need to wrap, and we're visiting today with Diane Floyd Bain in her story garden, so much more than a library, looking at some of the books she's written, which are so much more than just books. These great stories. Master storyteller, Diane Floyd Bain. People out there who might want to get a hold of you, who might want your help to tell their stories, what's the best way to reach you?
Sure. The best way is just go to my website, Diane Floyd Bain, and you can see it right there, but I'll spell it for those listening: DiannFloydBoehm.com, and you'll see my email right there and contact me. And never be afraid. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, should I? Oh, and I'm saying, go for it.